Hey guys!
Hey guys!
It's Ryan.
And Jessica.
Coming to you from
El Salvador.
But not just El Salvador. Today we're in San Salvador, the capital city. We're at Adopting Bitcoin 2022, as you can see right here. Yeah, so there's a meeting of minds happening here today, and as well as tomorrow. There's going to be speakers, there's going to be guests. People are meeting, they're sharing ideas, they're sharing technologies. They're building a different future, not just for El Salvador, but for the entire world.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're super excited to be here. Stacy Herbert, Max Kaiser, Greg Foss, all the best names in Bitcoin are here right now.
Yep.
Yeah, and we have a little thing going too.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, so we have produced a video for the Me Primer Bitcoin people, and we're going to present it today when John goes to...
John Dennehy, the founder of Me Primer Bitcoin. He's going to be speaking today at 3:30, and we've produced a little video introduction for him. We're going to be sharing that with you as soon as the conference is over.
Yep,
and
it'll be available on our channel.
Yeah, we're excited. We're excited to show it because you know what? John and Me Primer are doing such a special mission here in El Salvador. They are bringing not just Bitcoin education, but financial education, the tools to take control of your financial life to the public education system here in El Salvador.
Yeah.
When was the last time you took a financial education course in public school or saw or heard of one? It doesn't exist, right? But that's been created and it's happening here today. So we can't wait.
Yeah, they're doing such good work.
Yeah, it's great. All right. So we're going to start touring around the festival. We're going to bring you as much of it as we possibly can, interview as many people as we can, and show you the sights and sounds. I understand there's a party tonight and also tomorrow in El Zante. All right, we're excited.
All right, let's go.
All right.
So here in El Salvador, the majority whip of the Congress here, Christian Guevara, tweeted yesterday. He said, "Luckily, we have the best gatekeepers against shitcoins, Max Kaiser and Stacy Herbert, just Bitcoin only here." But in Brazil, we had to literally fend off these shitcoiners coming here to teach crypto classes. They wanted to teach blockchain classes. They wanted to do this. They seem like really nice people. There's nice smiles, nice happy people. They have a huge marketing budgets that they print up. You know, some of it donated by the likes of Sam Bankman-Fried sort of people, like print up their tokens and give, they have these huge marketing budgets. So when your online platform, your education platform about Bitcoin in Brazil, I'd imagine Brazil is like 30 times the population of El Salvador. You have governors and states and a vastly different governance model there. Like, how do you deal with all those crypto people, the crypto bros with their marketing budgets in a place like Brazil?
They are everywhere. Brazil, it's like one of the countries with the most number of scams. So it's something to fight, and it's educational process. The first thing I think is to differentiate Bitcoin from the rest, and then teach people, teach the companies, and I think that the fiat institutional entering into the blockchain and crypto space is forcing to this narrative to keep up of the crypto negative narrative, right? Because I see crypto as fiat right now. Because if it's centralized, it's just like fiat, but it's in a custom to make everything nice and beautiful and with smiles and in innovative way. I think that for me, is education the key. Educate the people that crypto and Bitcoin are not the same, so they will avoid these scams and the shitcoinery.
Hey guys, as promised, we're on tour at Adopting Bitcoin 2022. We've made our first stop of the afternoon. We have met Ronnie from Me Primer Bitcoin. Ronnie, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about Me Primer Bitcoin?
Hey guys, well thank you for having me. Thank you for putting me on here. We're very happy to have you. And so Me Primer Bitcoin is an educational organization here in El Salvador. Our main focus is educating the population, especially the younger students in school, about Bitcoin education, financial education. And so we have a diploma here. This is our program. It's a 9-week program in full. And the first 3 chapters really are serving up the problem, excuse me, serving up a history of money. What is money? Where does money come from? Inflation, decentralization versus centralization. And so the first 3 chapters really serve up the problem, which is the old monetary system. And then in the last 6 chapters, we focus on the solution as to why Bitcoin couldn't be the solution. And it really is meant for a introductory course to prepare students and prepare people for Bitcoin and to how to use it as a tool, how to keep it safe, which is the most important thing. Custody of your coins. So really the fundamentals of Bitcoin. So we're working with some of the schools in El Salvador in the country, and we're really focusing on getting the diploma to the students. There are schools and around the country who are reaching out to us and being like, hey, we want our students to be prepared for what's coming. And so we're really looking forward to having you guys come in the school and implement the program.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so the diploma is available online, right?
Yes.
You can download it from what,
yes.
GitHub?
Yes. So the diploma is absolutely free. It's free and open source, just like the Bitcoin ethos, right? And so it goes along with I think what everybody here in the space is trying to do. So right now it's in Spanish, South Korean, full translation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's coming in English. So English, there's 2 chapters left to be translated before it's fully out in English. And then we need help all over the world. Anyone who's looking to translate it so that it can be available in your community, that's what it's for.
Okay. So in 2021, I understand you guys had, what, 400 students?
Correct.
Is that right?
Correct.
How many do you have in 2022?
Sorry, no, 2021 we had 0 students. 0 diploma students. Yeah, the diploma didn't exist. Yes.
We had intro classes.
We had intro classes, correct.
Okay,
so we started in September, right after the law came into effect, and it was just introductory classes, right? Like maybe an hour and a half, very basic. What's in here, trying to shrink it into like an hour and a half.
Right. Okay.
Then in 2022, we decided, okay, we need to expand it a little bit more. It needs to be more than just basic. And that's where the diploma came in.
I see.
Yeah,
okay.
so the diploma in 2022, we did 400 students.
Right.
And then we onboarded over 10,000 Salvadorans just in general, right? Giving them a general understanding as to what Bitcoin is, just to get them in the right direction.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's our part. That's how we're doing our part here.
Right. Do you have targets for 2023? Like
We do.
Okay.
So for 2023, actually, the targets, if you can see them, are right here.
Okay.
It's going to be a little, if it's difficult to see, our targets for students for the diploma program in and of itself is over 7,000 students that we want to do. So we want to reach all 14 departments of El Salvador. So we want to expand. And then in terms of overall, we have a really big target here. So our target is 300,000 Salvadorans have been educated and onboarded in some sort of way into Bitcoin.
So if people watching wanted to help support, say, a student or the project in general, what can they do?
Cool. So they can go online. They can go to miprimerbitcoin.io. And so .io, and then there we have a whole section of how you can donate. We sell the books. So if you want to donate a book to a child, you can buy it for them directly on there. Cool. We are going to have some merch on there as well. Okay. So if you want to buy merch, that also goes to support a student.
Shirts and hoodies.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And if you're here, I mean, there's no better way to support them to come here and verify for yourself.
Yes.
Verify what we're doing here is real, and what you're hearing in the news is not.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So any last messages for the audience before we wrap it up? Or
I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your help, because this would actually not be possible with the Bitcoiners all over the world. This is a really grassroots, bootstrapped project. We're all, I think the entire team, and I can speak for the team, is that we all started off as volunteers, educators, because that's what we wanted to do. And Mi Primer Bitcoin is a team of people, a team of Bitcoiners, and the support that we get is through Bitcoiners from all over the world. So we really do appreciate it, and we hope to change the world and hyper-Bitcoinize El Salvador first, and then spread it around the world.
Right
so
on. Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua next.
Who knows what's after, right? The world.
Right on. Thank you.
Yes. Amazing.
So the IMF, as we all know, is part of the central banking cartel, which has had free reign all over the world in imposing a US dollar standard and imposing conditionality for their loans Anyone who's read Confessions of an Economic Hitman knows the deal. The IMF comes in, other organizations come in, and they load you up with debt, and if you can't pay the debt and extract all your resources and keep you as a third world nation, then they send in the economic hitmen, and your presidents start flying out of airplanes. You have certain accidents happen. There's an overthrow. I think 15 coups and overthrows have happened in this region over the past few years. But the Salvadoran model is a departure from that. What I would call the Salvadoran model, or the El Salvador model, of hyper-Bitcoinization and what it means to a country when they make Bitcoin legal tender and they start mining Bitcoin using the stranded energy in the volcanoes. So you notice today, one of the volcanoes is smoking. It's on fire. It's happening. That's raw Mother Earth energy ready to be harnessed to mine the hardest money ever known to humanity for this country. You just gotta tap into it.
All right, so we're back, and our next guest is an author of a children's book for Bitcoin. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, my name is Valentina. I run a project that is Satoshi Gallery. I started doing art paintings about Bitcoin to spread as an activist Bitcoin back in 2012. And through the years, then I became a mom. I was not happy with books that were on the market for kids, so I decided to do it myself. And To the Moon is the first book that we are presenting, differently from all the other books that are in the space. This is a book that talks more about the culture and the philosophy behind it rather than the technicality of it. So right now, all the books that you have for kids have images for kids, but the narrative inside is not catchy for them because it's too technical.
Right.
So this book instead has like all the characters of the book are part of an anecdote or some references that are part of the culture or the philosophy behind Bitcoin, so that kids can get closer to the iconography that is part of this world, and then can grow up with a better like a familiarity towards the space.
Yes, excellent, and it's definitely an awesome book. Would you mind almost giving us a little summary for the viewers so that they can see what the story is about?
The story is kind of easy. It's an easy story. So Satoshi is a shadow because you don't know who he is. And he has a friend, Alfie, who's the alpaca. They live on Genesis planet. And Alfie's dream is to explore the crypto space, but he has no money. So Satoshi creates this magic formula, which is the algorithm that is running Bitcoin, and takes him into a volcano that is protected by a honey badger with laser eyes and some toro goats, because the toro goats is with the Bukele hat.
That is really cool. Yeah.
Is the national symbol of El Salvador. At the same time, the toro goats is a bird that doesn't live in captivity, so it's a symbol of freedom. So basically you teach what Bitcoin mining is by explaining to kids that there is a mathematical riddle to be solved, and the first one that solves the mathematical riddle gets as a prize Bitcoin. So then finally Alfie has his Bitcoin and he can jump on the blockchain, which is the shapeship that will allow him to explore the crypto space. And up until he holds his Bitcoin, he will never get lost because Satoshi's laptop will always know where it is. So he starts an adventure through the crypto space, and then he finally arrives on planet Earth, and he's starving, but nobody accepts Bitcoin. And finally he finds somebody who's a bull named Laszlo, because Laszlo was the name of the first programmer who accepted Bitcoin in exchange of a pizza back in 2010. So I made him a bull because he was bullish about Bitcoin. And so there is the first Bitcoin transaction. And then the alpaca is so happy that he wants to be part of the community, but he doesn't know what to sell. So he goes, shaves himself, and starts selling alpaca socks. Why alpaca socks? Because back in the days, the alpaca was the very first mascot of the Bitcoin environment, because after the pizza transaction in 2010, there were very few goods that were sold for Bitcoin, and there was this lady in Massachusetts that was selling alpaca socks, and so alpaca became the very first mascot of the Bitcoin environment.
Right.
So it's something that allows kids to be familiar with all this part of the Bitcoin story without being boring, but at the same time is catchy for them.
Yeah, no, and that's definitely true. Like looking at the illustrations and the storyline, it's definitely something that your kids will be interested in. It is not a boring book at all. Great education for mini Bitcoiners out there. I just have a question. How long have you been, like how long did it take you to
do it?
To do
so
this?
I had this idea back in 2015, but I didn't have the funds to make the entire book. So I did it last year because I became a mom and I started having the need of having a book for my kids, and I didn't like what was on the market. So last summer I decided to do it myself.
That's awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. Thanks.
Line yourself up on the risk ladder and then flip it to a country. I know there's no equity, but if you have an infrastructure that's built on a Bitcoin economy with energy plays and mining plays, as a credit investor, you look at this and you say, this is all reducing my risk. And in fact, it's got a decoupling effect, or a, how would you call it? You would call it a diversification benefit. That's not the word I was looking for my fiat risk that's everywhere else in my portfolio. Wow. I can come and invest in a company that will diversify, a country that will diversify the rest of my fiat exposed portfolio, because it's got Bitcoin collateral, it's got a Bitcoin economy, it's got tourism that's going up or GDP that's increasing 10% annually. Guys, do the math. I know there's some surf shops that don't accept Bitcoin, but the fact is the top line of the economy grew 10% on $28 billion. That's $2.8 billion to the Treasury. What's a good tax rate? 20%? Okay, 20% times $2.8 billion is $560 million of increased revenues. Oh my God, they lost $50 million on their Bitcoin portfolio. They didn't sell it, but let's mark it to market. They're still up $500 million to the good guy. Do the math. I don't care if there's a surf shop that does not take Bitcoin yet. They will. Not every single merchant in the world took a credit card right on day one when credit cards were offered, okay? I'm sick of this bullshit, people saying you can't walk around El Salvador and do everything with Bitcoin. It's 1 years old. And the top line grew by 10%. Damn it! Stop with the bullshit, okay? We are not gonna flick a light switch overnight. And I'm talking to my good friends in the Bitcoin community that are walking around saying that it's not working down here. Look at the math, grade 11 math. I'm really sorry, but I am a full-on Bitcoiner and this place is beautiful, but not everyone has got the message yet.